What do you think of when you hear the words Roma, Romani? Do you think of Rome, the capital of Italy? Or maybe the Roman Empire? Or maybe the country Romania in the Balkans? Or do you think of a certain diaspora group that left India around 1,000 years ago and now lives all over the world? Now for most people, they will probably think of one of the first three options. I mean, to be fair, the name of the city Rome in Italian is Roma. And even the Romans called themselves Romani to denote that they are from Rome. Also, Romania and its people, Romanians, who go by the term Român in the Romanian language, which is spelled very similarly to Romani. However, Romani people and Romanians are two completely separate ethnic groups, and in fact, the names aren't even related despite how similar they sound. But why do they sound so similar? Why are Romani people called Romani when they're from India, not from Rome? How does an Indian group have that name? Where does the name Romani even come from? Well, I'm here to answer all those questions and more. Davin Bakhtale. My name is Florian and I'm a Romani person, and this is Romani history by a Romani person. Now you may be most familiar with Romani people from exonyms, such as gypsies, Tsigan, Cigano, Zigeuner, and so on. What's an exonym, you may ask? An exonym is a name that is applied to our group from outsiders. It's not a name that we created for ourselves. Our native name is Roma, or Romani. In addition, these exonyms have long and harmful histories of being used as derogatory words and racial slurs against Romani people. That is why many Romani people in this day and age especially prefer to just be called by our native name, Roma or Romani. And while some Romani people may choose to reclaim these words as a way to take power back from the words, that doesn't erase their histories of being used as a racial slur and the derogatory associations that come with them. For example, the word gypsy, gitano, Juton, they all come from Egyptian because early Europeans thought that the Romani people came from Egypt. That's where the word gypsy comes from. But as we know now, Romani people aren't from Egypt, we're from India, and that's also where our name originates from, not from these European languages, which are false cognates. Contrary to popular beliefs and misconceptions, the words Roma and Romani are nothing new. They're actually our native names in our language that we've been using for thousands of years. In the Romani language, Rom means a Romani man or husband, and Roma is the plural version of that, so it means Romani people. Now our Romani language, Il-Romanishib, is an Indian language, which you can learn more about in my previous episode, that has roots in ancient Sanskrit. So it only makes sense that our name also comes from ancient Sanskrit, the language of ancient India. Now if you recall from my first episode, the Romani people before leaving India were part of a low caste of traveling musicians and dancers that went by the name Doma. That's where our name originates from. Now the Sanskrit word Doma actually originates from either the Proto-Dravidian or Munda languages as the word for drums. That's because music has always been an integral part of our identity, even before leaving India, and still to this day. Now this caste actually still exists in India to this day under the names Dom, Domba, Domhari. However, it is important to remember that this is a caste based on an occupation, not an ethnic group. Roma is an ethnic group, and it became an ethnic group once we left India. Now there are actually three migrations of Doma out of India. The first being the Dom people or the Domari, who left India to the Middle East and the Arab countries. The second being the Rom people or the Romani, who left India to Europe. And the third being the Lom people or the Lomvatic, who left India to Armenia and the surrounding areas of the Caucasus. These three endonyms, meaning words that we call ourselves in our native language, all come from the Sanskrit word Doma. However, each one sounds a little bit different from the other one. That is because as we migrate and travel, and as time progresses, language shifts and the pronunciations of different words shift as well. These language shifts can also be influenced by similar or related words. For example, some linguists theorize that the shift of Roma from Doma actually happened because of some similar related words in Sanskrit or a Punjabi related language. In Sanskrit, the word Roman or Romasa meant someone with long hair and a long beard, which is actually a tradition of Romani people and Indian people in general. Also, in Punjabi languages, words for roaming and traveling also start with the R sound, which could have influenced that development from Doma to Roma, because as you know from our previous episode, Romani people migrated from the central Indian zone to the northwest Indian zone and became influenced by languages such as Punjabi and Sindhi. Now it's worth noting that even among Romani people, there are different ways of pronouncing and writing Roma and Romani. For example, some people just say Romani, some people say Romani with that hard R sound, using either the double R spelling or an accent on the R. In the Americas, many Romani people don't even use the R sound at all, instead saying Homa or Hom, or saying Chroma or Home. As you can see, language shift is a very natural part of language development. It does not mean that we are trying to copy any European languages to sound similar to them, as is often erroneously claimed. Now you may have heard me use the words Roma and Romani interchangeably throughout the video. However, there is a difference between them and when you should use Roma or Romani, and I'm here to explain that to you. So as previously stated, Roma is a plural word. It's our native name for our people, and it is a noun. Romani is an adjective. The ni suffix is a common suffix found in Sanskrit-rooted languages, just as Hindi and Romani. The ni suffix transforms certain nouns into adjectives. For example, Purani and Romani. Romani is a singular feminine adjective that describes things related to Roma people. For example, Romani Chip, our language, Romani Gili, a Romani song, and so on. Or Romani people, our Roma people. So basically, whenever you want to use a plural noun to describe us, you say Roma. Whenever you want to use a singular adjective to describe something related to us, you say Romani. A common misconception is saying Romas. However, Roma is already plural. There's no need to add an S at the end. Now, I hope this video helped you understand that even though the names sound very similar, Romani is not related to Rome or Romania. Two separate, completely different things. Now, this is a concept that many people still struggle with to this day. Many people, including lawmakers, think that the words Roma and Romani are stolen from Romania, or Rome and Romans. However, that is simply not the case. It has a completely different origin. They just happen to sound similar. The outrage against Roma using our native name to describe ourselves comes from anti-Roma racism, and these groups not wanting to be associated with Romani people because of racist beliefs. They instead would like Romani people to be referred to by exonyms, such as gypsy or tsigan, that hold those pejorative connotations of us being criminals and outcasts from society. However, our native name is Roma, and it always will be, no matter what racism has to say about it. There's also another endonym from ancient India called Kale, which I discussed more in the first episode. I hope you enjoyed this video of Romani history by a Romani person. If you learned something new today, please hit the like button and comment what you would like to see next. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit post notifications so you're reminded every time I post a new video. And check out my playlist for all the previous videos I've uploaded on this subject. I hope y'all continue to have an amazing day. Jade Vlesa.